Elon Musk faces trial over $56 billion pay package. Twitter. International news. Top news. WION. Tesla boss Elon Musk is heading to trial back in Delaware next week to defend his record $56 billion pay at Tesla. The trial begins November 14 and will be decided null. Chris Evans has been named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, CNN. People magazine has crowned actor Chris Evans this year's Sexiest Man Alive. People magazine has crowned actor Chris Evans this year's Sexiest Man Alive. The unveiling was made on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, with help from John Oliver and Dwayne Johnson. In a bit T. Plus 1162 Chars. Drawing delayed for world record $1.9 billion Powerball jackpot, CBS News. Lottery officials said one state was still processing its sales data. The jackpot is the largest for any lottery anywhere, ever. Des Moines, Iowa. The Powerball drawing scheduled for Monday night was delayed, and it's likely that the official results won't be known until Tuesday morning. The Multi-State Lottery Association SI. Plus 3272 Chars. NHS England to offer, potentially life-saving, drug for aggressive breast cancer. The Guardian. Women with triple-negative breast cancer will gain access to pembrolizumab after deal with its manufacturer. Women with a particularly aggressive form of breast cancer have been given access to a potentially life-saving drug after NHS bosses struck a deal with its manufacturer. Up to 1,600 women a year will. Plus 3770 Chars. Researchers have discovered a mutation that significantly increases lifespan. SciTech Daily. The study found that faulty RNA processing can result in longer life. RNA is an important information transmitter in our cells and acts as a blueprint for protein production. When freshly formed RNA is processed, introns are removed to produce mature mRNA cod. By Max Planck Institute for Biology of Aging, November 7, 2022. Scientists found that worms live longer if introns remain in certain RNAs. The study found that faulty RNA processing can result in long. Plus 2947 Chars. Morehead State Eagles vs. Indiana Hoosiers live score and stats. November 7, 2022. Game Tracker. CBS Sports. Get real-time COLLEGEBASKETBALL basketball coverage and scores as Morehead State Eagles takes on Indiana Hoosiers. We bring you the latest game previews, live stats, and recaps on CBSSports.com. Bloomington. IND. App. Indiana star Trace Jackson Davis looked even better than his old self. Malik Reno made a splash in his college debut. Together, the preseason All-American and the highly 2. Plus 3752 Chars. Tactics Ogre. Reborn details Warren Report. Side stories, relics, and more classes. Gematsu. Square Enix has released new information and screenshots for strategy RPG remaster Tactics Ogre Reborn, which introduces the game's Warren Report, side stories, relics, and even more classes. Square Enix has released new information and screenshots for strategy RPG remaster Tactics Ogre Reborn, which introduces the game's Warren Report, side stories, relics, and even more classes. Get th. Plus 4721 Chars. Apple's bargain with Beijing. Access to China's factories and consumers. Financial Times. News. Analysis and comment from the Financial Times, the world's leading global business publication. What is included in my trial? During your trial, you will have complete digital access to ft.com with everything in both of our standard digital and premium digital packages. Standard digital include plus 1493 Chars. Jonathan Majors on Ant-Man's Kang the Conqueror. Bathhouse meeting with Glenn Powell and juggling. Jimmy Kimmel Live. Jonathan talks about flying old planes for his new movie Devotion. Playing one of the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Glenn Powell recruiting him to be in the Null. Chris Evans has been named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, CNN. People magazine has crowned actor Chris Evans this year's Sexiest Man Alive. People magazine has crowned actor Chris Evans this year's Sexiest Man Alive. The unveiling was made on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, with help from John Oliver and Dwayne Johnson. In a bit T. Plus 1162 Chars. Statins might prevent you losing your eyesight. Daily Mail. Experts at University Hospital Bonn in Germany examined studies involving 40,000 people from the UK, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Norway, Portugal and Russia. Statins may reduce the risk of age-related sight deterioration. According to new research, age-related macular degeneration (AMD) is one of leading causes of severe visual impairment among older PO. Plus 4692 Chars. Blood moon will emerge on election day in last total lunar eclipse for 3 years, CBS News. NASA said the eclipse will provide a little celestial magic during the so-called Beaver moon. The normally bright and glowing moon will appear an eerie red early Tuesday. In the last total lunar eclipse for the next 3 years, the so-called Beaver moon, as November's full moon is known. W. Plus 2218 Chars. Eagles road to 17-0, breaking down 8-0 Phillies remaining 9 games. With predictions, CBS Sports. The Eagles have an opportunity to go 17-0. But can they get there? The Philadelphia Eagles have been the last unbeaten team in the NFL for over a month, and have started 8-0 for the first time in franchise history. There have been 40 teams that have started 8-0 in N. Plus 6566 Chars. Sonic Frontiers offering free Sonic Adventure 2 DLC to newsletter subscribers. Nintendo Life. Score some fresh kicks. Image. Sega. Update. Tuesday 8 November. 2022 4 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Codes for the Sonic Adventure 2 shoes should be getting emailed out tomorrow, so be sure to check your inbox. This offer is available until 31st Ya. Plus 1675 Chars. Foxconn. iPhone maker bets on electric truck firm Lordstown Motors, BBC. The Taiwanese technology giant says it will invest up to $170 million in Ohio-based Lordstown Motors. Foxconn, which makes iPhones for Apple, says it is deepening its investment in a U.S. electric pickup truck firm, which could challenge Tesla's Cybertruck. The technology giant is spending up to $170 plus 2569 Chars. Raw recap and reactions. November 7, 2022. New Day and the Usos bring the heat. Cageside seats. The two best tag teams in WWE show once again why there's nobody better as they prove a tough act for anyone else to follow on Raw. When keeping it real goes right. I normally don't like when WWE goes meta with its stories. Not because I think it's a terrible move, but because some of the wrestlers can't do it as well as they think. Plus 7048 Chars. Florida braces for potential Hurricane Nicole's landfall. Orlando Sentinel. A turn toward the west or west-southwest is forecast to begin on Tuesday. And that motion should continue through early Thursday, the NHC said. Florida's east coast from the Brevard-Volusia County line south to Hallandale Beach was placed under a hurricane watch on Monday, with the National Hurricane Center warning that subtropical storm Nico plus 9964 Chars. Motivation is affected by oxidative stress, but nutrition can help. Neuroscience News. Higher levels of glutathione in the nucleus accumbens correlated with better and more steady performance in motivation-based tasks. Findings suggest improvements in accumbal antioxidant function that can be acquired via diet or supplementation, may be a easy. Summary. Higher levels of glutathione in the nucleus accumbens correlated with better and more steady performance in motivation-based tasks. Findings suggest improvements in accumbal antioxidant fun. Plus 6966 Chars. Cygnus cargo spacecraft fails to deploy solar array shortly after launch. Gizmodo. Northrop Grumman says the expendable freighter, with one of two arrays deployed, should have enough power to rendezvous with the ISS on Wednesday. The Cygnus cargo spacecraft has run into some trouble on its way to the International Space Station (ISS), as one of its two solar arrays is refusing to deploy. Northrop Grumman's Cygnus spacecraft H. Plus 1959 Chars. Kings at Warriors, NBA Full Game Highlights, November 7, 2022 NBA. Never miss a moment with the latest news, trending stories and highlights to bring you closer to your favorite players and teams. Download now. https://app.ly. Null. Oculus founder Palmer Luckey created a VR headset that kills you if you die in the game. Gizmodo. The VR billionaire really wants you to feel like you're in the game. Like, really. It's an old trope in a lot of dumb sci-fi movies that involve virtual reality. You die in the game. You die in real life. In said movies, characters get trapped in a video game and must play for their plus 4415 Chars. Stock futures flat as Wall Street awaits U.S. midterm elections. CNBC. The three major averages are fresh off a second day of gains as investors turn their focus toward the midterms. Stock futures were flat Monday evening following a winning day for markets as investors looked ahead to U.S. midterm elections on Tuesday. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 12 po. Plus 1670 Chars. Austin Theory fails his money in the bank cash-in on Seth freakin' Rollins. Raw. November 7, 2022 WWE. After Bobby Lashley leaves Seth "Freakin' Rollins in a heap." Mr. Money in the Bank Austin Theory cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase on the Visionary. Null. Nancy Pelosi says Capitol Police woke her to tell her about attack on husband. The Washington Post. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, D. Califf, spoke about how frightened she was to learn of the assault on her husband, Paul, in her first televised interview since the attack. Comment on this story. In her first televised interview since a violent attack on her husband, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, D. Califf, broke her silence about how frightened she was to learn of the AS. +3915 Chars. 3 things to do in the morning to stay alert all day. Insider. A neuroscientist from Stanford says that delaying your caffeine intake by an hour, and these other 2 tips, will help you stay alert all day. Stanford University neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman shared 3 things you can add to your morning routine to help wake you up and feel energized throughout the day. On a special episode of the +4180 Chars. Remnants of oldest known solar system discovered just 90 light-years from Earth. Space.com. The find provides further evidence that rocky planets were able to form in abundance in the distant past. The oldest dead star known to have possessed a system of rocky planets has been discovered just 90 light-years from Earth, and is providing insights into the composition of worlds that formed nearly +3745 Chars. Lakers at Jazz. NBA Full Game Highlights, November 7, 2022 NBA. Never miss a moment with the latest news, trending stories and highlights to bring you closer to your favorite players and teams. Download now. https://app.ly. Null. Report. AEW Fight Forever video game to be released on Xbox Game Pass, Figure 4 Online. The game will be on Microsoft's subscription service on day 1. According to a report, AEW's upcoming video game, Fight Forever, will reportedly be available on Xbox Live Game Pass at launch. WrestleZone is reporting that the game, which does not have a release date, will appear on XB +737 Chars.